Fundamental rules of the universe, something that actually governs everything from the car you drive to the entire power grid. We're talking about the unbreakable law of engines.
So, have you ever wondered about this? You feel all that heat pouring off your car's engine after a drive, or you hear your laptop fan roaring away like crazy. That's all just wasted energy. Why is that? With all of our amazing technology, why can't we build a perfect engine, one that turns every single bit of fuel into pure, useful motion?
And that question, that one single question, brings us to what's known as the perfect engine problem. It's a challenge that has fascinated and frankly frustrated engineers and physicists for centuries.
But here's the secret. That waste heat you feel, it isn't some design flaw. It's not a sign that you bought a cheap engine. It is a fundamental, totally unavoidable part of how every single engine in the universe has to work, from the tiniest motor to the biggest power plant. To really get why this waste is not just common, but actually necessary, we need to look under the hood, so to speak. We've got to understand the hero of our story, the heat engine. This thing is at the very heart of our entire modern world.
So what is it, really? Well, put simply, a heat engine is just any device that takes heat and turns it into work or motion. Just picture that tiny, controlled explosion inside a car's cylinder that pushes a piston down. Yep, that's a heat engine right there in action.
And here's the thing. Every heat engine has to follow this mandatory three-step dance. First, it takes in a bunch of heat from something hot, like burning gasoline. Second, it converts some of that heat into useful work, like turning the wheels of your car. But, and this is the absolute key to everything, it has no choice but to, expel the leftover heat to a colder place, like the air around it. This three-step cycle isn't just a good engineering practice, it's the foundation of an unbreakable rule. Seriously, this isn't a guideline, it's not a suggestion, we are talking about a fundamental law of physics.
And when I say unbreakable, I mean it. No amount of brilliant engineering, no revolutionary new material, not even the most genius design on the planet can get around this. It is an absolute, non-negotiable limit on what is even possible.
So this is it, the rule itself. It's called the Kelvin Planck statement, and it's a cornerstone of the second law of thermodynamics. Now I know, it sounds a little dense, super academic, but what it actually means is incredibly profound. And honestly, it's pretty simple once you unpack it.
Let's just break that down. What the statement really means is that an engine needs a temperature difference to get any work done. It has to move heat from a hot place to a cold place. The best analogy is a water wheel, right? A water wheel only turns if water is flowing downhill, from high to low. A perfectly flat, calm lake has tons of water but no flow, so no work. Heat works the exact same way. It has to flow from hot to cold to make the engine's cycle turn. That means some heat must be dumped into that colder reservoir just to keep the whole process going.
And boom, this brings us right to the heart of our question. The whole idea of waste heat isn't an accident. It's not an imperfection. It's a structural necessity for the engine to even operate at all. We all have this dream of the perfect system, right? The one on the left, all the heat from our fuel becomes pure, useful work. With the laws of physics, they force us into the reality you see on the right. A big chunk of that initial heat energy must be kicked out as waste just to complete the cycle and get any work done whatsoever. So here's the bottom line. The maximum possible efficiency of any heat engine is always, without a single exception, less than 100%. The real game for engineers isn't about getting rid of waste heat, because that's impossible. It's about how cleverly you can minimize it as much as this universal law allows. And hey, this isn't just some abstract physics that's stuck in a textbook. You can literally see this unbreakable law in action all around you, every single day. That heat you feel radiating from your car's hood after a drive, that's the engine dumping its required waste heat. Those giant clouds of steam you see billowing from a power plant's cooling towers? Same thing, just on a massive scale. Even your refrigerator is a heat engine, just running in reverse. It works hard to pump heat out of the cold box and dumps it out through those warm coils on the back. It's everywhere. So when you really think about it, that waste heat, it isn't a sign of failure at all. It's the physical cost of doing business. It's the non-negotiable price the universe demands we pay to turn heat into the work that powers our entire civilization. And that leaves us with a really fascinating final question to chew on. Since we're totally bound by this law, and we can never, ever get rid of waste heat, the next great engineering challenge is this.
What clever ways can we find to capture it and use it for something else? The answer to that? Well, that could change everything.